Hello everyone, I hope y'all are feeling Q. Welcome to the third episode of Chord Breakdowns. I'm the coordinator, and in today's video, I will be breaking down the chord progressions used in the song called From Dusk Till Dawn by Phil Davis. The song's key is F sharp minor, its time signature is 3/4 with a few bars of 2/4, and its tempo is roughly 115 BPM. I forgot to mention all the basic details about the two previous songs, so I'll mention them now. According to the website TuneBat, the BPM of A Peaceful Place is 120, but I like to feel it in halftime at 60 BPM, and it's in 6/8. The Village is in 4/4, and according to TuneBat, its BPM is 170, but again, I like to feel it in halftime at 85 BPM. Again, I strongly recommend taking notes on each chord progression because I will constantly be referring back to them later in the video. Plus, this song is more rhythmically and harmonically advanced. I've had trouble deciding on a name for this series, so for now, I'll refer to this series as Chord Breakdowns. And moving forward, I'll make sure that my keyboard is louder. I got the volume set to the max, so that'll take care of that. And one more thing, if there are any important details that I forgot to mention in my videos, I'll be sure to write them in the comments, the description, so make sure to check there. So, the first sequence is B major 7 over C sharp for 1 bar, and F sharp minor 11 for the next bar, and this progression repeats 4 times. The second sequence consists of 12 bars, and the second and fifth bars are in 2/4 instead of 3/4. It starts with B major over C sharp for the first 2 beats of the first bar, and D major over E for the last beat of that bar. And since the second bar is in 2/4, it lasts for only 2 beats instead of 3. And E major over F sharp is held for that entire bar. And then next, the entirety of the third bar consists of F sharp major 7 over G sharp. Then the fourth bar contains F sharp major over G sharp for the first beat, and G sharp minor 9 for the last 2 beats of that bar, and the entirety of the fifth bar, which is also in 2/4. And then after that, the sixth bar has E major add 2 over G sharp for the first 2 beats, and F sharp major add 2 over G sharp for the last beat of that bar. And then the entirety of the 7th bar is G sharp major 9 add 13. And in this voicing, we're omitting the third. Then the 8th bar consists of G7 flat 9 add 13. So all we're doing to this voicing is just taking that A flat and bringing it down to a G, and then taking these notes, bringing them up a semitone. So it went from that to this. So that's the G7 flat 9 add 13. It's a spicy chord for the first 2 beats, and then D sharp major over C sharp for the last beat of that bar, which sounds like this. Then the entirety of bar 9 is C sharp major over B. The entirety of bar 10 is B major over A. And then the first 2 beats of bar 11 are A sharp major over G sharp. And the last beat of that bar is F sharp major 6 over G sharp. And then lastly, the entirety of the 12th bar is C sharp major 7. Woo! That's a nice progression right there. 5, 1. It's a very happy resolution. And also I gotta tell you about those chords. Let's just take this chord. I'm not sure if you noticed something interesting about some of those chords I showed you. They sound kind of interesting. They have a very interesting sound. They seem kind of complex, but they're not really complex at all. They're really simple. If you really think about it, let's just take the first chord that sounded like that. It was D sharp major over C sharp. It's basically just a D sharp 7 chord. But we're just taking the flat 7 and putting it in the bass. So it sounds like that, and we're inverting the triad into second inversion. That's all it is. It's just basically an inverted 7th chord. And it sounds really cool and interesting. Next, the third sequence is another long one, but it's much simpler. It also consists of 12 bars. Here's a fun fact. The most common form of the blues is 12 bars. So, in this progression, F major 7 over G lasts for 2 bars. And then G sharp minor 11 for 1 bar. Woo! Going up a half step to A minor 11 for 2 bars. Woo! And then A sharp 7 with a sharp 5 and a sharp 9. Woo! And then A major 7 over B for 2 bars. And then B major over C sharp for 1 bar. Then F sharp minor 11 for the next bar. E minor 11 for the second to last bar. Then A minor 7 over D for the last bar. The fourth sequence is a 4-chord loop, and each chord lasts for a bar. It consists of B major 7 over C sharp for 1 bar, F sharp minor 11 for the next bar, E minor 11 for the third bar, and C major 7 over D for the last bar. So the last chord of the first progression smoothly segues into the beginning of the fifth and final chord progression, which consists of 6 chords evenly divided among 6 bars. The chords are F sharp minor 11, D minor 13, woo! F sharp minor 11 again, then G major 7 over A, then B minor 9 add 13, omitting the 5, and then C sharp 7 sharp 9, omitting the 5, and then occasionally sometimes they'll have the sharp 11. So something to keep in mind is that Phil Davis will sometimes omit notes in some of the chords in his songs. Sometimes less is more. I should have mentioned this earlier. And I wanted to mention this because in this song he does leave out that 5 in the C sharp 7 sharp 9 chord. And another example of him leaving out the 5 is in the A sharp minor 7 add 11 chord in A Peaceful Place. And there's so many more examples too. And for the most part, the only notes you need to define a chord are the root, third, and 7. If there are any parts in this video you don't fully understand yet, then I recommend checking out a different YouTube video that will cover more of the basics of music so that this video will make more sense. So going back to the video, now that we've analyzed every chord progression used in this song, I can show you when they occur. The first sequence happens once, the second sequence also happens once, the first sequence happens again, and the second sequence happens again. The first sequence happens again. The third sequence happens only once, and it's a segue into the fourth sequence, which repeats 8 times. And Phil Davis improvises over this section of the song. The second sequence happens once more. The first sequence happens one more time. and then the last chord of the first sequence becomes the first chord of the fifth sequence. The fifth sequence happens roughly 6 times, and again, Phil Davis improvises over this section too. And that's it. Thank y'all for watching today's video. I hope y'all have a cute rest of your day, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Cue out for now.